our hosts, and Jeff knows this, man, we all about keeping it super interactive. We want people to engage, because the reason I'm like this is because I actually had an opportunity to be a volunteer at an event where it was like 300 people. And the feedback I got back from that was a lot of them left feeling like they didn't get their questions answered. And so that's why it's so important to me when anytime I host or put my name on anything, I want the number one thing to be communication and to be engaging with the content, right? So tonight, all I'm asking for you guys, if you guys are in a safe place where you can like sit down, comment, do the chats, just do it. We just want some, feedback, some energy. So what basically, what energy you give us is what we're going to give back. So I've worked closely with Jeff, so I know the energy that my boy can bring. So again, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Duvet Weaver, also known as Coach D on social media. I am an ambassador here at the Rising Tide Innovation Center. And today, I am super excited to bring someone I consider a brother now. We just met like less than a year ago, but it's one of those connections where it's like you meet somebody and you feel like you've known them your whole life, right? So he's actually a St. Pete native, moved up to Minnesota, lived there for a while, now is living in Georgia with his beautiful family. His name is Jeffrey Ingram. His main topic is leadership. Also talking about leadership for millennials, but he is branching out and now, of course, talking to people like, 40, 50, whatever age, showing you how to live the life you want to live now versus later, right? So with that being said, I just want to go ahead and pass it over to Jeff. I will start with a few house rules. We ask that if you're not in a quiet place, go ahead and mute your Zoom so that way we don't have no back noise. And then the other thing is, like I said, if you have questions, try to hold them to the end because we are going to do a Q&A session. But I'm super excited. It should be a good keynote for my boy, Jeffrey Ingram.
Hey, well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Duvet. Like, it's always an honor to work with you, bro. As Duvet said, like we have this was a divine connection. I'm in a divine space in my life and time in my life. He is too. Actually, the whole wide world is in a divine time. Like this is one of the only times in many people's lifetimes, that the whole world is literally at a standstill, all in sync, all together. And when he told me about this event, I was totally like, you know what, this is absolutely what the people need. So let's jump in it, and today, and really with this event, I want to again give some more accolades to Duvet. There are not too many people in the world who have committed their life to helping people, encouraging people, empowering people to chase their dreams. There are very few people that actually are committed to doing it. Most people like to talk about the idea, but there are very few people that are like for real crazy about doing that. I'm one of those people. Duvet is one of them people. Matter of fact, our organizations are built around it. His is closer to our dreams. Mine is I create. And it's all literally around us. People, empowering people to really start creating a reality, chasing their dreams, reaching that space that everybody dreams about. Like everybody at some point in time have a dream. And so today I'm going to teach people who are in leadership right now, or a position of influence, or aspiring to move in a position of influence, or to be more influential, and how to take their lives, their organization, their teams that they're leading, or the people that are following them to the promised land. Right, this event today is all about lead us to our promised land. And I work with leaders, and I'm going to teach you how to do it without using the traditional methods and routes that have been taught and perpetuated for generations on generations. Like I'm going to teach you how to like really discover your superpowers and how to start mastering them and using them in a way that literally creates the reality of your dreams. And as leaders, a leader is someone who leads. Now, when we talk about leadership, more times than not, when you hear this conversation around leadership, it's executives, it's CEOs of organizations, someone in a managerial position that is leading an organization, that has a team, a group, some mission that is catered towards solving a problem, either for profit or not for profit, but they're geared towards solving a problem and being the best at it and making money doing it. And so what I've learned through my career is how to do that in a way that transcends outside of just your career, but in every area of your life. And to do that, you've got to discover your superpowers. So today, again, so my title on my message today is how to lead your life, your team, or your organization to the promised land. Because if we're leaders here, we're talking about the promised land, like that's what it's about. And so to talk about the promised land, I want to talk also to people that are non-traditional, because we're in a non-traditional world. Everything is new right now. This is a space, again, that no one has been in. And so not just how to lead your team or your organization to the promised land, but without using traditional methods or using traditional vehicles or strategies that's been working, that used to work, but that won't work right now. All right. So my goal is to help two types of people that are here today. So people who are in leadership right now, and then people who are aspiring to be in leadership or to run an organization themselves or start their own business, okay? People who are in leadership, what you're gonna get out of this, you're gonna get a fresh and effective approach to leading an organization of any size, a fresh perspective, okay? Also, you get an edge on how to position yourself and your team and your organization to thrive in crisis situations like this, but then not only crisis situations, but in the new norm. How do you position your organization to do that? For people who are aspiring to be leaders, what you're gonna get out of this, you're gonna get confirmation to take that leap that you've been dreaming about, to really pursue that dream, that promised land, right? That is inside of your heart. You'll also get a practical strategy that people who spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on traditional education, through training, workshops, seminars, hours on hours of training, and still didn't learn this practical strategy I'm gonna talk about tonight on leadership, okay? And so it's very important to understand this. And so again, our theme is the promised land. And so when I think about promised land, I think about that term. Like the first thing that goes to my mind is in the Bible, right? When I heard about in the Bible, in Moses leading the children of Israel to the promised land. And I have a background in leadership. Part of my leadership background is in leadership actually in church. So I was ordained minister. Actually, I was actually a pastor, a youth pastor. So I led a whole youth ministry in our church in Southwest Atlanta. And we did a really great job. And I learned a lot about leadership and who I am now today through that. But in that space, like we read the Bible. I grew up in church. And so that story, anybody that's a Christian, that has been to Sunday school at all, understands the story. I've heard the story. If your church was halfway okay, right? You heard the story about Moses and the children of Israel to the promised land. So it was slaves. There was Abraham, who was a man that had a relationship with God, the creator, and he followed what he heard in his heart, his dream. He followed that. He picked up his family, well, his wife at the time and his nephew, and left where they were at and actually start to pursue this place, which was the promised land, the land that was promised to him and his seed. And so Abraham ended up having two sons, Ishmael and Isaac, right? And then Ishmael, that son, his mother didn't end up staying with him, and that's his father. And then you had Isaac, who grew up with his father, and then Isaac had a son. And this promise again to the space that is in modern day, like the Middle East, Israel, that area, Palestine, that area is the area that they're talking about. But long story short, what ended up happening was his family ended up in Egypt as slaves. You have to go do Bible study to get all that, right? But they were slaves, and there was still this promise was always looming within them, that there's this space that is flowing with milk and honey, right? And flowing with milk and honey to that culture that means this place is abundant with wildlife and everything that we would need to live the life of our dreams. It's all there waiting for us to get there. And so this promise of this promised land is what drove Moses to lead these 2 million people out of Egypt with no roadmap, no nothing at all to lead them to this space. And this promised land, it was enough to drive these people to keep them going, right? It kept them going enough, like it's there, it's there. In fact, like people are still fighting over that land right now, thousands of years later, that promise. And so each of us, again, if we're leaders, right, we are a part of an organization, not even as a part of an organization, as a person, there has to be something that's driving you yourself to keep going. There has to be some land, some dream that you have that is driving you, and it's gotta be huge. I mean, it can't be any lacking in it. It can't be worse than where you are. It has to be something that is big. It's gotta be huge, flowing with milk and honey. What your milk and honey is, I don't know what that is, right? For your organization, I don't know what that land of milk and honey is. But this framework that I'm gonna teach you is how that you can actually lead yourself, and your team. If you're just what I consider a level 2 leader, which is someone who just leads a team of people, or a level 3 leader, who is a leader who leads a whole organization of teams of leaders, right? But all of us want to take our teams to that promised land, okay? And so this framework will tell you how to do it, okay? So over the next about 15 minutes or so, my goal is to really get you to believe that this framework I call the power of one, right? Is the key to really unlocking that for you. And I'm talking about you and you yourself individually, your team, your organization. And I want you to know that literally this is the tool to help you unlock that infinite power and potential that's really available to all of us as human beings. Like, again, everybody has superpowers. And I believe it without a doubt. It's just you may not be able to fly or shoot electricity out your fingers or read minds or something like that. But there is something that everyone has that once they tap into it, once they're in that space, they do extraordinary things, man. And they get extra superhuman results and achieve any goal, right? We usually admire those people. Those are usually people that are at the top in their game, whatever industry they're in. And I'm going to show you my proprietary way and framework that I use to teach literally thousands of people how to do that. Like for the past 15 years, I have worked with leaders in several different industries. Over the past 9-10 years, I've perfected this framework that literally makes it very simple. Because I've tried a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? I've always had ambitions for my own life. I've always wanted to be the best. Like I've had dreams since I can remember. And I was one of those kids that never stopped dreaming, right? I started pursuing my dreams early, right? I started my career. I knew for a fact that I was going to do business for myself. I was like 9-10 years old when I knew it. I didn't know how, but I knew, like, I was intrigued by the idea that people could make money doing what they love to do, like make as much money as they could. My mom always had projects she was working on, and people were paying her to do the stuff she loved to do, right? And so I've had the amazing chance to use this to create a win-win life for myself, to where I'm winning where it counts for me, right? That's personally, I want to win in every area of my life personally. So that's with my relationships, that's spiritually, that's mentally, that's physically. I want to win with my family. I don't want to be able to win in my career and then I don't spend balanced time with my family and be able to build relationships with my family. I'm a husband of 15 years, a former teen father. I'm now the father of 8, right? I believe in legacy and family, and I want to spend time with them, as much time. I used to spend 50, 60 hours at work away from my family. I couldn't really pour into them. And so I would be winning at work professionally, but not necessarily with my family, or winning in one area of my life, but not personally, not really reaching my potential and doing things I love to do. But I've been able to use this to literally create a win-win life. Now, I don't know what win-win means to you, but to me, win-win means that everybody wins, not just one person wins, but I win, you win, those people that are closest to me win, that are dependent on me, they all win in this situation. And I've also been able to use it and teach other people and empower other people to use it to create win-win lives for themselves. But see, it wasn't always like this. I've been trying to figure this out for a while. And so I'm honored to be able to teach people how to do it. It took a while to get here. You know what I'm saying? I've had my own desires. I wanted to win again in every area of my life, externally, but internally, I wanted to learn as much as I could. I was a nerd. I still am a nerd. I'm a proud nerd. I just don't look nerdy. You know, I love to read and learn as much as I could. I always wanted to reach my full potential in every area of my life. And then I wanted to fulfill my purpose, my ultimate purpose, like why I was created. I've always wanted to do that. And so I tried all the things that you could think of, all the traditional routes, all the traditional, things that people tell you, this is what you got to do to succeed. You know, public school, went to public school, graduated public school, went to college, right? College, I ain't quite make it through college, right? That wasn't my thing, right? I tried to learn from people that I looked up to that were getting the results that I thought I wanted. I went to all the free events and tried to free programs that I could find because I didn't have money like that, right? You know what I'm talking about. And I went to all the paid events that I could find. You know, anybody know what I'm talking about that's here? If you guys have tried all these other vehicles, man, would you type that in the box? Let me see who's here. Let's see who's in the room. Right, we totally interactive people here, right? Would you chat? Let's see in the chat box. Let's see. What are some of the vehicles that you guys have tried traditionally that have not worked for you to reach your goals, to reach your promised land? Jump from content. Yeah.
She said they do it for the mama. How much?
4-year college. Yep, absolutely.
For the movies.
Absolutely. I've tried it. Put them in the chat box. While you're doing that in the chat box, I'm going to talk about really this framework, okay? I'm going to introduce it to you, okay? I call this the power of one. Career, yep, crazy careers. Crazy careers, good careers that work for some people, some don't. But this power of one framework, literally, like, it will help you unlock it in a very simple way. Again, I tried all these different ways that worked for some people or seemed to work, but didn't really work. And as a leader myself of people, of teams, a group of people, I wanted to find something that I could pass on to people because I always appreciated those leaders, those people that I looked up to that gave me something I could use. And so here's what it came up. It's 3 easy steps, okay? 3 easy steps everybody can use and they can use in any kind of situation to tap into this source of power that you have to help you unlock your Hadouken or whatever your thing is that you do. Unlock it, okay? Number one, step one is you need to identify some goals, okay? Identify a goal, whatever that goal is. It could be the weirdest goal in the world. It could be the most amazingest goal in the world. You see the amazingness? Like that could be a goal to make up words. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that is, right? Whatever it is, I want you to go outside of the box. Again, I told you this is not traditional, okay? Identify the goal that you're trying to achieve. The second step you want to do is create a plan or a strategy to reach that goal. Like you got to really create the strategy, okay? And then the third step you have to do is execute that strategy. Like with relentless passion and tenacity, all right? Those are 3 steps. That is the framework. Now, there's so many ways to apply that and use that in your life, but I have used it, number one, again, I've used it to create my win-win life, right? I've used it to train, coach, empower business owners, people that are trying to find their balance, who are doing the traditional thing and it's not working. Like it's not working. People that are running business in the traditional way and COVID hit and they don't know what to do now, right? There are 30 million people who are unemployment right now with the traditional way, right? You get a job and you work that job and then you're gonna be good. Well, psych, right? So this framework has been a very beautiful thing, a blessing to me and everyone I work with, everyone I touch. Like I literally teach this in all the different ways of applying it. So when I met Duvet, that's why I started. That's what I talked about. That's why that I've lived this, breathed this. And so if you're a person who's a leader right now, I don't know where you are. I don't know what the situation you're in, your organization's in right now. I want you to stop and just identify some goals for yourself, okay? What are you capable of doing? What are you trying to do? Where are you guys trying to go? Then come up with a plan, like for real, a good plan, right? And actually that plan should be your plan A, okay? Because what you'll find, and I know if you're already a leader, you already know that plan A usually never work anyway, right? But you need to prepare yourself and your team that this is where we're going to start for now. And then execute that plan. After you execute that plan, like look at what happened. Assess it. Like really use your team to go back through that same method again. Identify what happened. How did we meet our goal? Did we do it? How close were we? How far were we? Like what worked, what didn't work? Then come up with a new strategy, okay, for the next day, right? And then you implement that strategy. And every single day you implement this methodology. Right? It's a habit. It's a total different way of looking at things and approaching life and teaching your team that's used to the probably traditional way of doing things. But my goodness, like again, my goal is to convince you that that's the only way to do it because that's all I know to do. I tried so many things. And so I want to open up this time to discuss, like with Duve, we're going to talk about kind of this framework, this strategy, and how some people what their promised land is. What is your promised land and where are you trying to go and how can this work and apply in your life, you know?
Yeah, and real quick, let me chime in, Jeff. So this is how I know like our connection is divine, right? So when I think about it, and listen, if y'all think it's a joke, I'm here taking notes, right? Because think about it, if you're always learning, then you can always get better, right? Yeah. But the reason Jeff and I are so in sync is, so I have a book, and it's entitled Chasing Your Dreams Bound for Success, right? Yes. And so in it, I talk about the dream cycle philosophy, right? And I want y'all to think about this too, like, and now watch this. And then everything happens in thirds if you think about it. So watch. So there's 3 phases in my book that are very important. So phase 1 is what? Manifesting the dream, right? Yeah. So there's so many people that don't know where to go because they just start working a job and then they just get stuck in that job and they never sit down and say, man, you know what? What do I want out of life? What is my goal? What is my dream, right? So think about it. That's the same thing as identifying your goals, right? Yes. So then we go to phase 2. What's phase 2? Phase 2 is creating the vision, right? So a lot of people have dreams. A lot of people have dreams, but they never sit down and say, okay, what is the strategic game plan for me to get to that said goal, right? And that's where a lot of people drop the ball. They got, man, I got these goals and dreams. I remember when I first wrote my book, right? This was 4 years ago. So many people from, where I'm from, St. Pete, came, man, I want to write a book. And what I would do, which would be different than anybody else, is I would follow up with them. I send them a text. Hey, man, what page you on? I do it like, first I'll follow up 2 weeks from now, 2 months. Sometimes I even wait a year. Hey, man, you know what? You should be about done with your book. And every time it would be, man, life hit me, man.
Buddy.
My dad was like, they weren't serious about it in the first place. They just had a dream. They didn't sit down and figure out what's the strategic way to get it done, right? And then the last thing is taking massive action, right? So you got to think about it. If you do those first 2 things, the next thing is, like he said, executing, figuring out, like now, I remember when I first started, I was literally trying to do everything myself. It was all, I had to do the social media. I had to figure out the editing. Now I got a team of about 10 people doing it, and we do it as a team. And the team is focused on the goal of how do we inspire people to go after their goals and dreams, but not just go after them, because everybody can go after them, achieve them. What's going to make us different than all the people that go to the Tony Robbins events and all these other events? And I believe that is the immense, I feel like we just feel called to serve you guys, right? So I feel like, because like I said, I've been at those events and it felt like a money grab. I'm just going to be honest. It felt like, hey, man, run to the back of the room and get my $25,000 course and we're going to make you a success.
That's right.
That don't sound right, bro. So I was like, let's create an organization where we help people. Yeah, we'll charge you a fee, but it's not going to be nothing like that. And the thing about us is we're not happy until you succeed at your goal and dream. So there's the difference. Because once they take your money, you may not ever hear from them jokers again.
Never. You're gonna have to follow them, find
Right.
support, online support.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, man. So let's try to chime in. Let's see, or like, what does your promised land look like? I think that's a great question that we can kind of go ask a couple people. Kimberly, you got anything? I'm looking at you over there. We got the books behind you, so I know you got some education.
Yeah, I got a little education. So, well, my promised land looks like I will be positioned to help others reach their promised land. That's my ultimate goal. I've accepted what I feel like my God-given talent is, which is to help others get over their challenges, or to, get across their hurdles. So what I want to do is to get to a point where I have the ability to, I want to write books too. I have visions to actually create experiences where people can go, especially once we're beyond COVID-19. Mm-hmm. But I want to literally take people on journeys to help them step out of their comfort zone. So that's what my promised land looks like. And I just want to mention too, Jeff, when you were mentioning, talking about the promised land and what that means to us, for some reason, now everybody, just to preface this, I am a bit of a jokester, but
okay.
My first thing that came to my mind is my 40 acres and a mule. So that's, I want
right.
to get
Yeah. I need mine too.
We're gonna get that answer.
Yeah.
Is it lunar? I don't want to say it wrong. Don't hate me if I say it wrong. Is it, did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Yay. All right, do you mind sharing with us what your promised land looks like? We family here now, y'all. We family.
My promised land looks like the Lunar Fitness community growing and people really networking together and pulling together to help each other and build on that. Whatever the needs are met, and we teach the community how to survive, how to be diversified, and how to support one another.
Love that.
Awesome.
And I would even say, I mean, even if you, I wouldn't say just teach them how to survive, teach them how to thrive.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
How do
Exactly.
you because I think that's the problem with some of us. It's like we so caught up in surviving, and we never went to seek the information. Man, I forget for survive. I want to thrive.
That's basically what it is, because I have some things in place that if they continue with the steps, they will be able to be self-sustaining, be able to be financially stable, but they have to follow the pattern.
Yes. And I know that can be hard sometimes. People, fall off, like they say, fall off the wagon. But, that's life. Emily, do you want to share with us anything? Or?
Hi guys, sorry. My promised land?
Yeah, what's your promised land look like, Emily?
Oh man, I feel like it keeps changing. For me, I've been trying to set goals and stick to them and work towards that. But for me, it's really just about sticking to my morals and kind of letting my goals change a little bit. So, I mean, especially just this weekend, getting away and really just spending time with like my long-term boyfriend and just thinking about life. And I've just started watching that, the Zac Efron Down to Earth. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like, whoa, it's like really life-changing. And, I feel like my promised land is really just having enough money to be financially stable and independent, that I can be me, my boyfriend, my parents, my brother can all be happy and healthy, and be able to just save up enough money to do something really impactful to actually change the world. I think that would be, that's it, as far as, I can have specific goals like, I want to make X amount of money. I want to have X amount of employees. I want to open this business. I already have 4 businesses. I probably don't need any more. I think I just need to chill with like having specific goals and really just save up money to be happy and healthy. And Dove, I just connected with Lawrence Parker, my
Yeah.
new financial advisor, and he is going to lead me to my promised land to reach my goals. So that's where I'm at. Just really sticking to my morals and letting that take me to figure out what my goals are going to be.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad y'all connected. Juan, did you want to share? Yeah.
How about that, Juan? We family. Oh, we can't hear. Can't hear.
Awkward. I don't think he's muted. I think we just like actually can't hear him.
Right.
What, the volume?
Yeah, because he's unmuted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yay.
Okay. For me, it's kind of just learning as much as possible right now. Just like I know I eventually want to start my own business. I'm not exactly sure as to what yet. So I'm kind of just absorbing everything I learn and just from like talking to people and reading more books. That's one of my goals that I have in life. And then another thing that I want to accomplish is just like kind of fitness. I used to be overweight like a couple of years ago, and then like, you know, last year I got into CrossFit and started focusing more on fitness. And I was supposed to do a competition around April with it, but you know, that's when COVID happened. So right now I've kind of just been focusing on training each day at the gym that I go to, and it's mainly just been sticking to the consistency and just making sure that I just stick with it. And honestly, my promised land is just to figure out a way to make a difference on the lives of the people that I meet. Whether it's I meet them once in my life or I see them every day, I want to figure out ways to help them while also being able to help myself reach my own goals.
That's beautiful.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah. So Jeff, if you want to get back into it, sorry about that, but I think that was powerful because one of the things and you know this, Jeff, we like talking when they come to our Dreamers Paradise. We like, man, what does your paradise look like? You know,
Right.
like what does it look like to you? Everybody's doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't even have to be similar. Well, I love Emily's how it's like, look, I ain't got to make $20 million as long as I can be financially stable. Everybody's healthy. We good. I mean, and I think that's a great promised land. So
Absolutely.
go ahead and jump back into it, Jeff.
Okay, great. No,
Powerful.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Chills over here.
Man, listen, again, that's the first step is you got to really identify what that is. Okay. You have to go inside to identify what that is. Identification is like a spiritual superpower that we have. It's not something that that someone can take from you. Okay. Identifying is to really establish what things are. And even people who are blind, they can still identify what's going on around them, right? The other senses kick in to another level to help perceive it, right? And it's all to take in information and put it in your brain, and your brain translate what it is and to see it, right? So once you identify what your promised land is, then from there, you're like, okay, so where am I now and how do I get there? How do I get there? What do I have around me? What do I have with me to get there? Who do I have with me? What do I need to know? And to actually spend the time to shape it in your mind. All this is internal, I'm saying, right? In your mind to think about what does it look like? Where will we go? What does the space look like? Your plan. Who do I need to have around me? What is that? And when you do that, this is part of your human superpowers, right? We have the ability to create literally anything we want with our imagination. It doesn't even have to have any kind of tangible correlation at all. Like everything that began, everything that came to existence was just an idea, right? And so to really come up with the idea of what it would look like so you can just rehearse it yourself. And then to communicate with your team, right? Because if we're leaders, right, we lead some kind of organization, we lead some other group of people that help us get where we're going, or they're trying to go the same place we're trying to go. Now we all may have different reasons for trying to go there, for sitting on the spot of the role and the places that we are in it, but we're all headed the same place. And so come together and come up with a plan to get there, right? But if you don't first see it, if you don't first identify that I'm going, you know, even hitchhikers, right? They say LA or bust. So that way people can identify, okay, this person, he's going to LA. Am I going to LA? Can I help him get to LA or no, right? That's a way to clearly do that, right? So you need to establish those things for yourself internally, but then also to gather the team that's going to help you get there. As Duvet talks about, and I talk about, like your team of Avengers, right? The people who are on their own mission, right? That have their own superpowers, right? That have their own journey that they're on. But for this particular thing to be accomplished, we got to come together on it, right? And so you'll have different teams in your life. You do have teams in your life. Maybe they're good teams, maybe they're horrible teams. I don't know. A lot of that depends on you as the leader, right? But to really rally together and then to execute it, man. Like execute, most people don't do that. Most people don't do it. But again, I've found and learned and harnessed a way to help anybody do it. Like really do it. It takes time. It takes a reframing of mind. It takes new habits, new perspective, and continually do it over and over and over again. Right? And that's the biggest secret that most people don't accept, is that the process takes a long time. And again, all of us are on this journey. We're not on the same journey to the same place, but we're on this journey called life, right? And all of us have different places we're supposed to go. I know some people have goals to just have a solid career and control of their life. To me, that's still a leader, right? There are some people who have a solid dream to, I want to take this group of people that I'm around, I want to really help them reach their goal, right? I want to do in my career where I work at, I want to take this department to another place, and that's their dream. Great, awesome. But then there's some people, again, what I consider a level 3 leader, who are more established, and they want to build something where they have different entities moving, different streams of income coming in for themselves, their organization, and their scope is, how do I make all this work together and keep it all balanced? Whatever that is for you, you've got to own it and know it and come up with a plan and strategy. I don't know what you use to come up with your strategies. I don't know if they've been working. I don't know if the vehicles you've been using have been working to get you to your promised land. I don't know where you are right now in the midst of COVID. We're almost kind of mid-post COVID, kind of. I don't even know if it's mid or post. What is it? Is it mid or post? What y'all think?
Man, I don't think nobody know, bro.
Somewhere we're in the midst of COVID.
No.
Right? But we still have to live tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to get through the rest of today. And like, where are you headed? It's only so long that you can use the excuse of, I didn't know. It's not fair. It's only so long that those people that are following you or that are with you, that's headed to this promised land, it's only so long that they'll accept not creating the results that they're looking for. And everybody knows right now we need extraordinary results right now. Everybody knows that. That's what everybody's looking for. People jump from ship to ship to ship to ship, to career to career to career to career, to organization to organization to organization, finding the one that got that sauce, the juice, you know what I'm saying? The super thing that help pull out what's really inside of them, or make them feel like they're really living and fulfilling that internal purpose. And so I don't want anybody that's here to miss that opportunity, miss their boat, miss their way, find their stream, their source, to tap into that source. Because it's infinite, it's there for everybody. Again, I call it the power of one, but people, every civilization that exists have talked about this space that exists, that everybody can get to, but very few people discipline themselves to master the mastery of obtaining this discipline and to use it in a way that produce those results consistently. You know, you think about like martial artists, right? Senseis. You think about the top professionals in any industry, business people. You talk about the top athletes, musicians, entertainers, the top of any industry. It's very clear to people who have tapped into that source, that power for them. It's very clear because you see what they're doing. Like, how did you do that? How is it? But there's a way to get there. And there's a way for everybody to get there, but it's different. And you got to be creative. And for some people, the traditional path is not it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it. But you need to identify if it's not working and be okay with making the pivot change, man. So yeah, Duvet, anything you want to say about?
Say that again.
What you got about that, man? That's the second main point I want to drive through. Is you got to come up with a plan. If what's working isn't working, if the traditional plan isn't working, and honestly, it's not working for too many people right now, other than politicians.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely agree with everything you said, Jeff. As far as like the plan, I believe it's right up. Like every phase is important, but the plan is how you set up everybody to execute, right? So as he talks about, everybody on this call they are leaders, right? That's what we're gonna claim. Everyone on this call, you are a leader.
Right.
Whether you're leading yourself, whether you're leading a team, that just depends on where you are in life, right? So for us, we're closer to our dreams. Right now, I'm leading a team of 10 individuals, and our ultimate goal is by the end of this year is to help 100 people that want to either start a business or level up in their career, right? And so how do we do that? We got to put workshops together. We got to put plans together to help each individual, right? Like the plan for Kimberly can't be the same plan for Emily because y'all are on two different life paths, right? So that's things that you learn as you like learn more about people, what drives Kimberly versus what drives Emily, right? We got a little glimpse of that like today when we asked the Promiseland question, right? So I think the plan is important because like I said before, when I used to ask individuals that told me they wanted to write a book, you can take it right back to the point where the goal was to write a book, but no one said, all right, when we gonna sit down and come up with the plan to actually start doing that? What does that look like, right?
Yeah.
So
what does that look like? That's the key right there. What does that look like?
What does that look like? I mean, before I even started sitting down to write my book, I had researched for like a year on different, like I went so deep in it. I was like, man, I went back to high school. I was like, man, why did I remember certain things in textbooks? And what I remembered is that after each textbook chapter, there was a review. So what I did, I put that in my book. So most people that read my book and they come back to me, they say, I've retained most of the information because of the way you put it in the book. Well, if I didn't take the time to, strategize and figure out how my book would be different than the next person, then I wouldn't have happened.
Yep, absolutely. And then if we're leading organizations or people, part of your strategy you've got to know what those people are looking for, what their needs are, what's the problems that they have, because like, our problems are what drive us. Our problems are really what give us our passion. We're passionate about the things that cause stress in our life or pain in our life, right? And we usually get jobs because that job will be a means to solving that problem, right? And so as leaders, the most innovative, non-traditional way of leading people is to really figure out what's going on with them, right? On your team, and to be empathetic with them. And find out, okay, what makes you tick? What are your strengths? What's your superpowers? Like, what are they? And become infatuated with those things. What are your weaknesses? What are the things that's causing you to stumble? Now, not just our team, but we also use this skill with our customers that we're serving, the people that our organization is here to serve, right? Every organization, I was talking about this, I put on Facebook the other day, Instagram. So if you're trying to move up, you need to become passionate and committed to finding out and learning how to solve the problem that your organization is there to solve. Like, those are the people that move up. Those are the people that tap into this power to find out more and to come up with ways, how can we solve it differently? How can we do it better? What is it that we're doing? How many people are we serving here? Is this really, really working, right? And to come up with a way that does it, that really transforms people's lives and make them convinced. Again, like my goal was to make sure that y'all understand, like this framework I use is the best way to do it, right? It's the key for you. You got to tap into the power one, and you got to identify and strategize and execute to do it. Anybody can do it, but will you do it, right? So whatever your organization, whatever that problem your organization solve, you got to be committed to finding the best way to do it, depending on who you serve. I serve, again, different groups of people. So I work with people who are aspiring to lead an organization and people who are already leading the organization. You know, for instance, people like Emily that have businesses already. What her goals are, what she's working on doing is totally different from somebody, for instance, like Juan, who's just like, I don't know really what I want to do right now. I want to do something, right? But to use it, you can use this. Both of you guys can use this to really move forward with wherever that is. For Emily, it's to get balance. Great, awesome, right? For Kimberly, it's to help people, to establish a way to help people. We all can use this in a way, but you got to, your strategy got to use the people you're serving and those you're working with. It's got to be part of your strategy. Then you will take it out of here, because out of this COVID world, because again, most people are pouting right now, or complaining or waiting for the next, instead of innovating, coming up with a strategy. How can we use what we have right now to at least get our sales for the day, right? To meet our goals for today. And then you got to execute it with discipline. Like, you got to be like disciplined about how you spend your time. That's the key to the execution, your time. How do you balance this? Elon Musk has 24 hours in a day, just like Juan has 24 hours in a day. How you spend those 24 hours, how you execute in those hours is the thing that's different. That's different for all of us. All right, good to see you, Kim. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Thanks for hopping on, right? But your execution is going to be key, and that's really what separates most of us. Most people can identify, everybody can identify without even trying. Of those, the Pareto Principle applies to this. Pareto's Principle is the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your results come from 20% of what you do, right? And only 20% of people actually do what's necessary, and they produce 80% of the results that everybody live in. So to use that in this power of one principle, okay? Everybody can identify, but only about 20% of people actually really come up with strategies to reach their goals. And of those 20% of people that actually come with those strategies, only 20% of those people actually execute those strategies, right? And then only about 20% of those people keep on doing it consistently enough to where it actually picks up enough momentum and traction to where it really becomes and grows and they actually reach their promised land. And we see people who fall off. We see all the other people and get lost and get fearful. We're like, man, maybe I'll end up like those people. And I want you to know that you don't have to become one of those people. You don't have to be one of those leaders. You don't have to fail and close your doors and not reach the goals that you have for yourself, reach your promised land. The people that are working for you, the people that are working with you, that whose families are eating because your organization exists, right? Like all those people, they depending on you to stay focused on this and get this down inside of yourself, right? And when you do it, oh, it's amazing. Everybody can access it, man. Anybody have any questions or anything to say about about the execution, the strategy and execution? What are some things that people are dealing with as far as that they run into? What are some obstacles that you run into when you're trying to execute your plans or make a plan? What are some of the obstacles you face?
I would say my biggest obstacle is not being able to find enough people to help me properly. I get overextended and I can't find the right people. And then I kind of do this thing where I like throw a bunch of information at them and expect them to like understand it and do it perfectly. And then they don't, and then I get frustrated and then it's a whole thing. So that's my biggest thing, is just trying to do everything and not being able to. So yeah, that's my number one struggle right now.
I feel you, Emily.
Hey, but here's what's important to understand about that. At least you were able to identify, you'd be surprised how many people do exactly what you do or you're doing, expecting someone to like know all this jargon that you're throwing at them. They just started like a month ago, but you're expecting them to know how to do everything. Like that's what a lot of people are doing, but I commend you because you know that up front, hey, look,
yes,
it's just something you just got to figure out, okay, what can I do? Like you got to think about what's your onboarding process, right? Is it thorough where it's like, man, like for when people come work with me and do what we doing, like it's a whole experience we try to provide. Like ask Jeff. When we had Jeff, when we bring in speakers, we don't want them to feel like they've been to, it's just another conference.
Right.
skills now as we talk about it. We want them to feel like, no, bro, like you part of the family now. What you need, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you make your presentation better? How can we assist you with making this a good experience for you and so you can take it back to your community, right? So you got to think about, Emily, when you think about your onboarding process, what does it look like? Do you even have an SOP? Like, do you have where if it's a certain job, you sit down with this person so they can shadow you, kind of see how you do it? Then you can explain to them, hey, this is how I like to do it, but don't think it has to be done my way. You figure out what works for you. That'll take a whole pressure off a person right there, because now they like, oh, I don't have to do it like Emily. She just showed me how she does it, so then I can do my own spin to it, you know? So
I think the hardest thing for me is like when I guess, so Jeffrey, just to catch you up, I used to work for another agency for about 3 years, just in January left, and now I'm running my own stuff. So back when I worked at Bitmotive, I was like a manager position. I was training people underneath me, and twice I tried to train someone. Like I literally in person, not even Zoom, like I sat down with them every single day and I trained them and I went through all this stuff. And both times I tried to do that, did not work out. And I put months into it and I was so patient and I explained exactly. And I don't know if it's me. I don't know if I'm picking the wrong people. Like, I'm just so worried, especially now that it's my businesses and my money. Like, it's hard for me to figure out how much time and money do I want to put into someone before I realize maybe they're just not a fit. Maybe this just isn't quite going to work out. And I think that's the hardest thing for me, is because I have not successfully found someone to, I have one person that I work with, Juan. He's a other Juan, not this Juan, different Juan. Okay. He's a developer and he's perfect. Every time I give him a mock-up, he gives me exactly what I want back. I love it. And nobody else that I've tried to work with, I tell them what I want. And even people that I've actually worked with that have done good work for me. And I'm like, I know they can do this. I know they know how to do this. Yeah. And then I hand them something and I'm like, I've seen them do this before. They can do it. They're going to kill it. And then they give me back garbage and I'm just like, nah.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. I'm just really, I'm really struggling with scaling, because I'm like I said, I'm trying to figure out where that line is between being patient with people, having a really solid onboarding, and just knowing when I'm just kind of wasting money and to try to find someone else. So.
I got you, Emily. I got you. So I commend you. Like, kudos to you, because you're a bona fide leader, because that's the struggle that every leader has, is to have the right people on the team. Right. And the limbo, I've heard somebody compare leadership to herding cats. Right? It's very difficult to herd cats. In fact, like, I only saw one time in my life where I saw a group of cats like together, and it was very weird that I saw all these groups, and it's like more cats were coming. It's this parking lot, and the parking lot is a dark parking lot. Right. It's not like in the slums or anything like that. It's a kind of grocery store plaza, Kroger Plaza, right? But it was all these cats, these stray cats there, and they were just like congregating like they had a meeting. I was wondering, who is the leader? What makes these cats stay here? And I'm talking, they were laying on the concrete. You know how cats comfortable, and they like literally laying like they're having a meeting. But that's the only time I've ever seen that, other than like a pride of lions or something like that. But to lead people, to translate, to take an idea that's in your mind and to communicate that idea to their mind, and to get their mind to translate it and to reciprocate it and to put it out like you saw it, that is a feat. Yeah. Now, what I've learned to do over the years, so I've worked in operations for companies like Five Guys and like Foot Locker. And I've had managed teams of up to like 30, 40 people, right? And I found that everybody is different. Everybody's different. Everybody has different motives. Like, everybody has different backgrounds. So like, even in my courses, I teach people to start internally with themselves. Like, go all the way back as far as you can to who you are and what makes you who you are. What gives you your perspective of the world and why you're doing what you're doing. Whether you're at this job, or you're leading this team of people at your church or this community organization, like, what got you to that point? And then understand everybody that's around you has their own whole journey that they could go back to and get them to this point. and there's something that makes them tick. It's something that makes them happy, and to literally start creating win-win environment. That, okay, what is it that you're looking for, so they can freely express themselves without fear of being fired or being criticized or called stupid idiot. I know you probably don't call them stupid idiots, but most of us have worked for people or seen those kind of leaders.
Yeah, I just like don't email them back again. Ghost people.
Right. So it's definitely a process, and I don't know what you've used, who you've used to help you as far as training your team and your onboarding process. But if you're looking like, that's part of what I do at iCreate, is I work with leaders like you and help with onboarding and help training your team and help you kind of get down to a nitty gritty of a system that will work for you and your organization. That's something I could recommend. I don't know, Duve, what do you recommend?
Yeah, I would say it could be as simple as understanding how someone learns, right? So you gotta remember, like, people learn differently. So there's some people that learn by seeing. Like, some people learn by, they got to do it themselves. Like, no matter how many times you like show it to them, you can like give them a SOP. They're like, nah, man, I need to
Right.
this up a couple times. You know, nothing too crazy where I'm messing up the project, but I got to get my hands dirty where I know what's going on, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like you just have to figure out at the beginning, okay, what kind of learner are you, right? That might even, to be honest, that might even shock some people because they've never been asked that question.
Right.
You have to think like, you know what, I don't know. So then that may be a little tricky for you to navigate, because now you're working with someone who doesn't know
Dude,
best.
you want to go back there?
Right here.
But does this computer go to that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just how you got to view that.
Yeah. Can I ask a question, Emily?
Yeah.
So the people that you have on your team, like, what kind of relationship do you have with them? Meaning, like, what do you know about them? And what do they know that you know about them?
So, I mean, right now, my team is like, it's literally just me and one, because I haven't found anyone that I can actually keep. There's one girl I actually just hired on. I used to work with her. I actually interviewed her for my old company, and now she kind of like replaced me. I know she can do this shit. Like,
Right.
so she's a designer. She's a very good designer. And I brought her on last month to do, and I have a good relationship with her. I know her very well. I know, she's a single mom. She has 3 kids. She has this whole thing with her husband. I know her. Like, we know each other personally.
Okay, gotcha.
And I asked her to do these emails, and they just looked so wrong. And I was like, are you overworked? Are you? And then like the people that I've trained before, like I've sat in like, I haven't known them all personally, but I've sat in like several interviews with them, and I've sat down and explained exactly how I do what I do, given them mock-ups, have them do it on their own, come back to me, let's review it. Like, I feel like I've just tried so many ways, and I don't know. I think I'm just asking too much of people. Maybe I'm not sure. It's just so hard because it's not like a personal problem. Like, all the people I've worked with are good people and they try really hard. It's just like the things that I'm mostly having people work on is like very visual. Like, I need you to do this email template or this web design, or I need you to code this website or run these ads and not waste thousands of dollars for my clients. Like, it's very specific on like you can see it. So it's not one of those things where like, oh, like we can kind of work through, like it's not like a people problem, it's like a results problem. And that's what's so hard, because I like these people and they like me and we have a good relationship and I feel like we understand each other, but I'm just like, why don't you see what I see?
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Perfect. I get it. So have you thought about like hiring someone kind of like a midpoint, a mid person? So someone kind of to be in between with you, whether it be an assistant or someone to do operations, that you can communicate, this is what I want. And that person literally do the communicating for you.
I feel like if I could find that middle person, I would just want them to do the work.
Right. I mean, hey, and that's,
if I could find someone to understand me. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is just a me problem. I am just having a scaling issue. I'm just so brand new, and I don't want to hire anybody. I don't want to spend money on anything.
I get it. I totally get it. But I think that would help. As for me, just personally, just some transparency. I'm a very very intuitive, very visual, big picture kind of guy. right?
Mhm.
I see the big picture. I know how it all works. My mind kind of works in like outline, bullet point type of things. I can pitch it, I can sell it in the outline, right? A to Z, I can give you that. But as far as B to Y, I need someone that can translate the A to Z to translate the B to Y, the step by step by step by step. I could do it, but I could get lost in the weeds in it. I'm very like,
Yeah.
think about all that.
I do think that is really good advice, actually, because even if I have someone that isn't able to do exactly, if I can look at them and be like, hey, I'm looking at this, do you see what I'm seeing? And if they say yes, then be like, okay, try to explain this. Like, you know what I mean? Because I do have like business partners that, you know, align on visions with me. So I think even maybe having them step in and just maybe explain it differently.
Yes.
You know, I think that could
totally
be definitely
works.
helpful. Just to have another set of eyes, really, just so I'm maybe not going crazy.
Absolutely. That helped. That's helped me because I know I need an assistant because for the things I need to get done. And then also I had to level up as well how I communicate, right? To where my process that I use to actually communicate and delegate, okay, I need this done, my director of communications. This is what I need done. I need to buy this. And I've had to learn, like, you didn't tell me this part. Like, okay, so I need to communicate this and go through those extra,
Just don't assume that people know the things that you know.
Yeah, and then but if you find that person that can translate it, I call my old assistant like a juicer, right? I could tell her this, and she can be like, "Oh, okay, so you mean this, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, exactly, right there, like that, and then she can communicate for me, and that helps. And you can probably find somebody that won't break your pockets. You know what I'm saying? To pay to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you talked to your team about that? I'm sure they have good advice on it, especially since they run multiple businesses and have to delegate a lot of different tasks to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could barely hear you. Were you saying, did I talk to my partners or? What did
No,
you say?
he was saying, did you talk to Leah or Tina because they do a lot of that?
Oh, no, I've only really talked to them about like legal stuff.
Okay.
I try not to I feel like I'm like wasting their time. I feel like they have better things to do than talk to me.
They're also here to help. So like, if you want to meet up with them for like an hour and just get advice or brainstorm, collaborate.
Yeah, that's true.
They're here to help.
Do you have a coach, Emily?
A coach?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like a coach, a life coach, executive coach?
No. The closest I have to that is either my mother or this new financial advisor I have.
Gotcha. So I'm a certified master life coach, and I'm totally convinced. The only reason I'm doing it, I've went that far to go to school and get certified on this level is because everybody needs a coach. A coach is really somebody that's an accountability partner for you, that you can throw your ideas off of, that can hold you accountable to your goals, help you kind of go through the process yourself or whatever you're trying to do. And it literally, like, it's a partner, it's a secret weapon. Like, think about this, every championship athlete has coaches, multiple coaches. Most Fortune 500 companies are hiring executive coaches to work with their executives to help them flesh through the process. And so that would be also a great idea for you to try out a coach. Find someone that can be a good coach to kind of help you walk through the process as well. If you feel like because what he was saying about somebody, you feel like you're wasting their time. This person is committed. They're like, so team you, whatever. They're paid specifically to be on your team. So I know Duvet's a coach. I'm a coach. And just go through the process, finding a coach. Maybe somebody to do a trial, you know, that you could work with them for a month or so and kind of just see how that could work too.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I feel like the closest thing I have to a coach other than like I would say like my mom, obviously she's Team Emily, but interestingly, one of my clients, Nuts and More, Peter, he's a Mark Cuban company. Obviously, like he knows how to he's worked with a lot of big companies. He talks to some people. He's about 15 years older than me, and it's funny because sometimes we'll have our meetings and I'll be like going over all the stuff I'm doing for him, and then we'll just end up chatting for like an hour, and he's like giving me life advice on like teams and relationships and all this stuff. And I'm just like, wow, you're like my role model. So I do like that. And it's great because he pays me instead of me paying him to be the coach.
Hey, that works too.
What I was gonna say, we're about to do our 7-day Chasing Your Dreams challenge, where I think that'd be good. Where we're gonna be talking about some stuff from my book, but what we're doing in it is we're creating a community. So what I think would be good for you, Emily, is being able to bounce, ideas off of people. You know me. I mean, when I'm in here, we can always sit down and talk. You just gotta slack me, or I even give you my number. You tell me when you want to talk, and we could do that. It's no problem. I believe in what you're doing. I agree with Jeff. It just sounds like you need almost like an accountability partner, but someone that can look at your idea. I think you're too hands-on in it. And
Right.
so you won't be able to kind of be like, okay, this is okay with somebody else doing it until your hands are off.
Right.
I'll give you a perfect example. So like I said at the beginning of the call, I was literally trying to do everything. So I was the videographer. I was the one editing all my audio. I was the one doing social media. But once I took my hands off of that, we're in the process of getting a gig with the Utah Jazz, right?
Yep.
The NBA basketball team, right? And then I'm working on with my boy Jeff. He gonna be there with me. Then we also working with the MLB in Tampa. They got a youth organization where they only help kids that are underprivileged that want to play Division I baseball, right? So, but do I say all that to say this? Because when I was trying to do everything, I would miss those opportunities because I am trying to do everything. Now that I am all right, here, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to look nice, professional. Right. Let's get that boy out, right?
Right.
I heard, I can't remember what speaker said it, but he was like, a lot of things don't happen because people are waiting for perfection. And what happens is somebody else has that same idea you have. They come out with it first, then they revise it a couple of times, and you still working on the first edition because you're trying to make it perfect, right? So I don't know if that makes sense for you, but when I found out that has literally changed the game for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think that'd be great for you, Emily.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna do that 7-day challenge. I'm gonna be doing that. So I'm excited about it. I do a 7-day challenge every month. But those kind of things, like getting immersed in some of these programs and these challenges, I know it may seem like, man, that's just another one of those things and it won't work for me. But listen, they're effective. They can be effective. They're effective for people. It's really what you put into it. You might feel that you don't have the time to really do that. Listen, you don't not have the time. We have 168 hours in a week, right, to accomplish all the things we need to do in a week. And so it's just how we allocate that time. I believe you can do it. I believe it is great. I love to hear and meet people like you, because we are the people. Entrepreneurs like us are really what keep the economy going. It's what really drives the whole world, not just the United States. If you go to another country, right, there are people that have enterprises, multiple streams of income going on, and this skill is required by everybody that keeps that going. That you have to do that. And so joining a group of people, like a mastermind group of people that help with accountability, there's so many ways to do it that are non-traditional.
Right. Right. So, all right, man. So, I mean, this was a powerful call, man. I had chills pretty much through the entire thing. I think we're pretty much done, right, Jeff? We just wrapping up.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So basically, I just wanted to, invite all of you that are on. So for my company, Closer to Our Dreams, we are about to launch a 7-day Chasing Your Dreams challenge. All right. So this challenge is for you if you're looking for networking opportunities, accountability partners. That's what Jeff and I were talking about. You'll be in a group. We're keeping it super intimate. I think the max we want is 20 individuals. And that's because we want to literally dive in each day with you. And Emily, when I think about, I know you got a lot going on. You got 4 companies you're running. We're focused on trying to make it to where it takes 30 minutes a day, right? Because if you can't carve out 30 minutes a day to kind of get charged, to get going, then this ain't for you. But we want people in there that are excited about going after their goals and dreams, and then have that community put together so that we can hold each other accountable. Hey, I worked on this goal today. Did you work on your goal today? I'm telling you, that'll change the game, because then it's like when you don't do it, you're like, man,
you're gonna have to answer. Yep.
This call not, you know what I'm saying? I got to be ready. So, because somebody gonna ask. And so that's one of the things we're gonna do. I'm kind of giving y'all a sneak peek, is we're gonna partner people up once you're in the group, and we're gonna be like, hey, look, even if we might get somebody from Australia. So you never know who you're gonna get in there. So yeah, and I know, just to let you know, for now, we are doing 50% off the entire thing. So it's gonna be $49. That's gonna include a copy of my book. It's also gonna include 3 coaching sessions with myself and my co-founder. All right, so I mean, usually that's $1,000 right there. And then, of course, you're going to be in the actual community, where we're going to have a private Facebook group. So I'm super excited. And then that's just a prerequisite to what you're going to get on day 7, which I'm super excited about that, because we got an NBA player that has already signed on and said he want to come in and do some mentoring and talk to people about chasing their dreams. So we top of the notch, like individuals, so you guys can believe that your dreams are possible too, whatever they are.
Yeah, that's great. That's dope. That's dope. When does it start?
We working on probably the beginning of September, because we want to get everything put together. I got a video production crew, so I'm excited, and we shooting here at Rising Tide, baby. Rising Tide.
Hey, hopefully, COVID being slowed down by that time. September's a big month, man. It's about time for me to make another trip down to St. Pete. COVID's kind of been keeping me back, man. But I'm definitely excited about that. We're actually getting ready for our next. I do a 30-day challenge every month. We're getting ready for our next one for this month of August. Anybody that's here that's interested in this 30-day challenge, we're offering literally 80% off of the price, right, of it. So in my 30-day challenge, I have a 7-day boot camp to take, and then a 30-day boot camp to go through the rest of the month to really help you get a fresh sight and vision and clear focus on your source of your power, right, and how to use that in your life, right? It takes 21 days to learn a habit. So this 30-day course, you literally get more than 21 days to establish the habit of going through this process. Also throw in a free Power One assessment, a free copy of my book, the Power One Playbook, as well as my digital Power One planner that you can use. Literally, you never have to buy another planner again, ever. I'll throw all these together for less than $100. So anybody that's interested, so you can use the month of August to get prepared to chase your dreams, in September at the 7-day challenge. So anybody that's interested, it's a special offer I have just for tonight for people that are here. It's no excuses. There's no excuses. So I definitely, if anybody's interested in it, let me know. Duvet, if you could if anybody is interested, let me know. I can give you guys the login information and we can get that taken care of. But yeah, man, I'm excited, man, about this. Thank you, Duvet, for this opportunity, man, to get together again, to join forces. I call Duvet Nick Fury.
That's right. But some people may not get that. Everybody's not Avengers fans, unfortunately. But
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. We want to thank everybody for coming. If you guys need anything, I'm your ambassador here at the Rising Tide. If you need anything, let me know. You got your boy Juan here holding it down every day. Thank you again, Jeff, for coming all the way from Georgia to bless us with your presence.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good night.
Man. Anytime, man. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
All right.